Hey, Plumbing Pros, welcome back to the morning workout. Today we have a special guest, the lovely Laura's in the Screaming Eagle Jeep with me. Last time I saw you on the road, we passed each other on the road. I was explaining how we normally drive separately to work out.
Yes.
But today we had to drop Rover off at the shop.
We did. Yep.
All right, she's giving us a little engine something or other warning, low battery or something. This thing about Florida here, I love Florida, but the heat really sucks it out of the batteries. Batteries don't last long.
It's true.
So I'm getting some service. So the lovely Laura stuck riding with me today. It's good to have you, baby. You know, I was talking the last morning workout about just about how one of the topics I brought was being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And it's important for your business, among other things. And I just want to dive a little deeper in that, about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Okay? How, we're just working out and how the muscles get used to, they get used to the weight, there's no more growth. Well, the same thing with our, in our plumbing businesses. Okay, if we don't get used to carrying a different weight and get comfortable doing the uncomfortable things, there is no growth. And we've seen that. Of course, we experienced that.
We did.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you're talkative this morning.
I did not know we were going to do this morning.
I put the lovely Laura on the spot.
You did.
Okay. But it's it's so important with our plumbing businesses that the constantly push. We see that. Now we have literally hundreds of case studies. With our clients and the Success Academy. And it's so evident, it's so clear, it's so obvious that, definitely we give the equations and, the right, the worksheets and the calculators and know what numbers to follow and the right kind of marketing, all that kind of stuff. What we do, you can teach that, that's 20% of it. But 80% of it's, the other stuff, like, what the trash we have going on up here and just willingness to do the uncomfortable things, such as getting out of the truck. That's a biggie. That's a biggie with the guys. Let's face it, guys, we're comfortable in the truck, and on the job site, we, it's we're in control, right? Right? Walking into, in the truck, on the job site, I know what to do. It's up to me. I'm in control. But to get out of the truck, your business will not grow if you don't get your butt out of the truck. And there's all kinds of excuses. Well, no one can do it as good as me. Okay? I can't afford to get out of the truck. I mean, all kinds of excuses. I can't have it. What are excuses we have?
Why not to get out of the truck?
Yeah.
I think you named them.
Yeah, that's just a biggie. You can't, because it's uncomfortable. You got to get out of the truck. And then hiring a guy, it's become comfortable hiring.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I don't have enough work. Or
you never have enough work.
You never have enough work. We had that conversation yesterday with one of our coaches,
Coach Wally.
Yeah, Coach Wally, who you can wait. You never, no matter how, it's relative.
Right.
Whether it's you in the truck, you get it's you and another guy. You have 3 guys, you have 5 guys, 7 guys, 10 guys, 15 guys, 20 guys. There's never enough work, so that's always there. It's uncomfortable to hire another guy. And what we were laughing about, we experienced this for about 20 years, and we see it with the clients. You hire a guy, and that week that you hire, that they come on board, you're slow. There's something about that.
Plumbing's drying up.
Yeah, it's something that I think the plumbing gods enjoy that. It's just a little.
If there were plumbing gods, the plumbing gods certainly put that in motion.
Yeah, gods and little g gods. Okay. So, but you gotta put yourself in that uncomfortable position, hiring guys and going through that process. Just doing those kinds of things. Firing. How many times? Have we seen that not firing the guy? You got a guy in your crew, okay, and he could be he's a good plumber. Actually, it's making you money. That's the big excuse right there. Well, he's making money. He sells jobs, that kind of a thing. But he's drama. He won't work your system. you know, really, you
He's
know,
a prima donna.
he's a prima donna, and you're his little bitch. You know, basically that's what's happening. I know you don't like me talking, but it's adults. You know, it's just how it is, and you know that deep down inside. But you have these excuses, and really it is you're uncomfortable with pulling the trigger and firing.
Right.
From the fear of losing work or losing a good guy to there's going to be confrontation, you know. But you got to pull the trigger. You got to fire. If you don't, you will not grow. You will not grow. Period.
Yep.
So it's getting used to doing those, you know, getting comfortable being uncomfortable. We said that for years. So important.
It's not comfortable though.
It is not comfortable to the point, and so you got to push yourself because you get comfortable even at this stage of the game. Now I'm going to be transparent here. The lovely Laura knows that I'm a water wimp. Yeah, I mean I love warm water. I mean we live in Florida and the water's warm.
Water wimp.
Right. I heat our pool.
To the point of just bubbling on the surface.
I like, you know, I don't like cold water. But
We throw some shrimp in, boil them a little bit. We're done.
Right. But it's to the point of, you know, you got to acknowledge what you're kind of afraid of. And it's good to push yourself. Man, it's good to push yourself to face those fears. Okay? Both in order to be successful in your business and to keep leveling up, you've got to face those fears. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And certainly in your personal life. So, you know, we know that the cold water baths and that kind of stuff, it is good for the body.
Right.
It's also good for the psyche. And that's why Navy SEALs train in the cold water constantly too. It's just putting yourself in these uncomfortable positions. And quite frankly, I'm afraid of cold water. So,
No, you're afraid of it.
I mean,
You hate
I don't, yeah.
how it feels.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
But this is such a talk about being a little whatever. And so you got to push myself. So I've started just getting my way in. So I'm going to get right into a cold bath. We haven't got the cold bath, you know, you buy the tubs and that kind of stuff. You know, I haven't got the cold bath system, cold plunge system. But I have started getting into the shower with the cold. And of course it's Florida here, so you know you don't bury the water line. So the water line, you know, is ground temperature. So it's no less than it's probably no less than 60 degrees, the cold water here. When you brush your teeth, it's almost lukewarm water, you know. And so, but I've been getting in the shower. Now, I haven't got my hand on it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Just with my body, just to get
Sprinkling cold water.
right. It's just kind of push myself, okay, and to work that muscle, and we'll go farther and farther. And eventually, we'll get the cold plunge, and I'll do that.
I fell with that.
Yeah, but that's so important. It's just so important, man, that you get comfortable being uncomfortable and you push yourself through those uncomfortable situations. And it's extremely important to your plumbing business. If you're not willing to be comfortable being uncomfortable, like hiring the guys, getting your butt out of the truck, firing guys, getting that new truck, getting that truck, pull the trigger and get in the truck,
Rebranding.
rebranding, taking a risk on you know, a marketing company, and doing those kinds of things. If you're not willing to do that, you will not grow. You'll be a slave to the business, and at best. Okay, at worst, you're going to fail. And quite frankly, that's why 95% of all plumbing businesses do fail, is because guys aren't willing to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And sadly, you've been heavily conditioned to be comfortable. Not only, your brain sets you up to be comfortable, that's designed to keep you safe and comfortable, but our society has even too. So if you grew up a time where you played sports and you got a participation ribbon, you weren't conditioned to be uncomfortable. You were conditioned to be comfortable. Okay, and those kinds of things. If you got you're going through school and you got graded on the curve, okay, or whatever, or you got a good grade just for showing up, you haven't been conditioned to be uncomfortable. Look, business doesn't care. Your plumbing business doesn't care who your daddy is or was, or where you come from, or whether your feelings are hurt, or you need to hold a puppy. Okay, there's no participation awards, those kinds of things. You got to push yourself. Okay, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and And soon you start feeling, you get callous to it. That's why you got to constantly push. Okay, find some way to push yourself. That's why we work out too. Because it's uncomfortable getting up early in the morning.
So true.
It's uncomfortable making your body hurt, not just going through the motions. I see guys at the gym going through the motions. Of course, the body looks like they're just going through the motions too. You know, all flabby and fat. I give them credit, they're at least there, but they're not pushing themselves. They're not making themselves uncomfortable in the gym. They're not making themselves uncomfortable, but not feeding their pie hole with the, you know, when they want that junk food or that dopamine hit by taking that sweet or whatever. Okay. So you gotta position yourself. You know, if you want to succeed in life, succeed in your business, you gotta get comfortable being uncomfortable. So there we go, baby. All right, thanks for joining in.
You got your choice.
All right, guys. Until next time, don't be careful. Be dangerous. All right, get out there, plumb like a champion.